Somewhere along the way, somebody handed you a label. Maybe it was a teacher circling the wrong answer in red. Maybe it was a grade. Maybe it was just a quiet feeling that showed up around age 12 and never really left you again. And the label said, you are not a creative person. That's for the kids who draw well or play guitar or win the art prize, not you. I want to rip that label up today, and I'm going to do it using ideas from a book called Out of Our Minds by Sir Ken Robinson, who spent his whole career studying creativity in schools and businesses. His core argument is simple, and it's going to sound obvious once I say it, but almost nobody actually lives like it's true. Creativity isn't a personality type you're born with or without. It's a skill, which means it can be built. It can be learned, which means you can build it, starting today. By the end of this video, you're going to have an actual working definition of creativity. You're going to understand exactly why school may have convinced you that you don't have any, and you're going to walk away with specific exercises you can start using tonight. Let's get into it. First, let's fix the definition because most people are using the wrong one. There are three different things getting mixed up here: imagination, creativity, and innovation. Imagination is just bringing something to mind that isn't right in front of you. A daydream, a what if. Everybody does this. It happens entirely inside your skull and nobody else ever has to know about it. Creativity is what happens the moment you act on one of these imaginative ideas. You write it down, you sketch it, you build it, you say it out loud. Private daydreaming becomes creativity the second it leaves your head and becomes a real thing in the world. And innovation is taking that idea one step further, putting it into practice somewhere it actually changes things. So here's your first real test. Think of one what if thought you've had recently that you never did anything with. Got one? That's imagination. Just sitting there, unused. It's not creativity yet, because creativity requires doing. The good news is that means the only thing standing between you and being creative is action, not talent. Now, here's the second piece of the definition, and this is the one that actually matters when you're judging your own work. Robinson defines creativity as having ideas that are original, new, at least to you, and that have value. They actually work or move you close to something you wanted. Both halves matter. An idea that's original but doesn't work is just weird. An idea that works but isn't yours is copying. Real creativity needs both at once. And here's the part that should genuinely make you feel better about yourself. Nobody is creative in general. You are creative in something. A mechanic is being creative when they figure out a weird engine noise nobody's seen before. A debater is being creative when they build an argument nobody saw coming. You are creative every single time you solve a problem nobody told you exactly how to solve. So before you go any further, I want you to think of 3 times in the last month you did exactly that. Write them down somewhere. That list is your evidence against the label. Okay, so if everyone's wired for this, why do so many of us feel like we're not? This is where it gets a little uncomfortable, because the answer is school did it, mostly by accident. Ken Robinson points out that most school systems around the world were originally built to produce workers for an industrial economy, which meant ranking subjects with maths and language at the top and art, music and trades further down. And it meant ranking people the same way, through grades that mostly measure one kind of thinking: analytical, single, right, answer, exam-shaped thinking. That hierarchy stuck around long after the economy that needed it disappeared. None of this means the ranking reflects your actual potential. It means it reflects what was easy to test in a room of 30 kids in 50 minutes. Here's the thing that hierarchy hides. You almost certainly have more than one kind of intelligence, and school may have only ever rewarded 1 or 2 of them. Some people think best in words, some in numbers and patterns, some in space and movement, dancers, athletes, builders, some in sound, some in... Here's a concrete exercise you can do right after this video, and it's one of the oldest creativity drills in psychology. Pick an everyday object, a brick, a stick, a paperclip, a spoon, whatever's near you. Set a 2-minute timer. List every possible use you can think of, including the ridiculous ones. Don't filter as you go. Aim for at least 15. This is called divergent thinking, generating many possible answers instead of hunting for the one correct one. And it's the exact muscle that most schoolwork never asks you to use, because most schoolwork only wants the one right answer. The fewer times a day you're asked to do this, the weaker that thinking muscle gets. So you have to go build it on purpose. Once you've got the mindset and the muscle, here's how you actually build a creative practice instead of just having occasional creative moments. Step 1, pick one specific domain, not creativity in general. That's like trying to get stronger with no exercise picked out. Pick writing, music, cooking, coding, sport, whatever you're even mildly curious about, just for the next 30 days. Step 2, learn an actual skill inside that domain. This is the part people skip because they think creativity is pure inspiration that strikes out of nowhere. It isn't. Got to do some work. A guitarist needs chords before solos. A writer needs grammar before voice. Spend 20 real minutes today learning one specific technique. Step 3, and this one might be the single most useful idea in this whole video. Generate before you judge. Create before you give your mark. The number one creativity killer is judging an idea the instant it shows up in your head. Separate the two jobs completely. First, build up options with zero filtering. Only after that, go back and decide which ones are worth keeping. Most people think they ran out of ideas when really they were just murdering every idea half a second after it was born. And finally, don't do any of this completely alone. Creativity in the real world happens in bands, writers' rooms, kitchens, labs, group chats. Other people see things in your work that you literally cannot see because you're too close to it. Show one unfinished thing to one real person this week. When they give you feedback, just say, thanks, noted. Write it down word for word and decide what to do with it tomorrow, not in the heat of the moment. So here's what I want you to walk away with. Creativity is not a club some people get invited to. It's original ideas that have value, built inside a specific skill, generated in volume before you judge any of them, shaped by feelings you should trust rather than ignore, and made stronger by other people, not weaker. Every single piece of that is trainable, starting tonight with a 15-minute notebook habit and one honest list of 3 creative things you already did this month that nobody graded. If this gave you a different way to see yourself, that's genuinely the whole point. Go write down that list. See you soon. Good luck out there.